Welcome to the Encouragement Engineering Podcast, where we help people combat the negativity that inundates our daily lives with a positive perspective and positive action. Today's guest is Genecia Alluora. Genecia is a former Miss Singapore, cafe retail chain owner, and Southeast Asia Woman of Excellence 2010, International Progressive Woman 2019. She's awarded by Noble Queen Most Prominent Woman Empowerment in 2020. And she's also a business coach and awarded as Mentor of the Year in Powerhouse Global Limited. She is the founder of 𝗁𝗲𝗂𝘂 Women, the #1 female entrepreneur network in Southeast Asia that connects more than 200,000 women across the region in the 𝗁𝗲 membership program. Genecia is a podcast host and producer since 2019 for her 3 podcasts for women who love the F word, with listeners in 131 countries, a daily 10-minute marketing podcast, Soul Why, Secrets of the 𝗁𝗲 Woman Blueprint, and secrets to go from stuck to unstoppable without changing who you are, or even if no one believes in you and stands by. She has been profiled in CNBC, Forbes, and China Daily. Genecia is a thought leader, author, and leading women's empowerment expert. She's regularly invited to speak on TV, radio, as well as conferences, and she has shared the stage with such great minds like Gary Vaynerchuk, Mary Buffett, 𝗁𝗂𝗁𝘂𝗁 and Neil Patel. I know that's a mouthful, and there's a lot to this. I'm looking forward to this interview. So please welcome to the show, Genecia Alluora. Genecia, thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me on your show.
Sure. I'm excited because that bio reads like a who's who of what you do. It's great. You've got some great accomplishments there, and that's not all the whole bio. So that's just part of it. So she's done some great work. But Genecia, if we could, why don't we start out by telling people more about you and who you are and how you got to where you are?
Well, first and foremost, I didn't had the easy way. Before I started 𝗁𝗲𝗂𝘂𝗂𝘂 Woman, I actually did the cafe retail chain business, and we had that in 3 countries: Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and then we built it from scratch, in fact. And I was in charge of the Indonesia market, and because I was single, and the partner said, why don't you go over to Indonesia and take care of the market over there?
Right.
And I did, went there for 2 years, grow the franchise market over there. And then later on, after we did exit to a public listed company owner.
Right.
So this journey taught me that even though you graduated as someone different, you too still can do something that is meaningful and amazing. I graduated as an occupational therapist. I have no business knowledge. You will think that, oh, aren't you a coffee lover, or you must have some business experience to be able to run business internationally. Well, the answer is no, I don't have that. I worked with children with learning difficulties. I worked in hospitals. I went through SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, which I was one of the therapists working in a restructured hospital. And at that point in time, I almost feared of losing my life because it was contagious and it was such a huge pandemic in Asia.
Right.
So I decided that I want to quit my job and move out of that space and pursue my dreams. That was why I joined Miss Singapore, Universe pageant, and later on I won 3 pageants in my entire career. And went on to represent Singapore in Miss International and, of course, Miss Chinese Cosmos, and many other. So this did not come easy because I never had the confidence and self-esteem to do all these. And, doing beauty pageants are expensive. You have to buy your own clothes, you have to get your own heels, you have to attend events. And people usually judge you by the things you carry and how do you carry yourself, right? So because I had to work and support myself through school since I was 14 years old, I never really had all the financial stuff to
Right.
begin with, to embark on this journey. But throughout the entire course of my growing up years, I had friends who believed in me, friends who told me that, hey, you can do it, right? Why don't you go and try it? So I didn't really have the courage to do all of that. It was because through the support group that I had in my circle of influence, who were there to encourage me, who believed in me and kind of enrolled me into different things for me.
Yeah.
So that is very important. And that even though I didn't have a lot of resources, I was resourcefulness. There was that resourcefulness within me.
Right.
I knocked on doors. I went to ask for sponsorships and asked for training, right? I said, hey, can you train me on how to speak better? Can you guide me on how do I present myself, my personal branding? And that was one of the things I did to prepare myself for the journey. I did not give in to the circumstances or the situations that were surrounding me. And I talk about self-esteem, right? I didn't like the stage and I hate talking to people. I'm an introvert because I'm always being bullied in school. They laugh at the things that I wear because I wear hand-me-down stuff. I carry hand-me-down stuff and things that my mom got through relatives. And because of that, when people see the stuff that I'm carrying is old, it's not so new, and I'm often being bullied. There were one situation I still remember because I wear the same bra, literally, because we don't have a lot of money. And they had to corner me, the mean girls. They cornered me in a basketball court, I still remember. And they pulled open my t-shirt, exposing my bra from the top, where you see the shoulder. And then in front of everyone, the leader said, oh, you're wearing the same bra? And at that point in time, I just felt humiliated.
Yeah.
And I think that life was the end, is the end. And I went home crying and remembered that there were so many situations that happened again and again and again. And very interesting and funny was, I almost wanted to commit suicide.
Wow.
And my mom told me, she said, turn your mess into your message.
Yeah.
Turn your problems into opportunities. And to me, at that point in time, mom, you sounded so good and you're so right. But
you listened to 𝗴𝗲𝗂𝘂𝗃, didn't she?
I don't really understand that thing. But you know what? I could feel her strength and I could feel her presence in my life. And that was how I carried through my entire journey. So coming back to today, doing Soul Rich Woman is like a legacy business where I want women to have it easier, that they can own and love the F word, that they, no matter their mental, social, emotional, whatever financial circumstances, they can have the things that they put their heart and soul to do it, which is fabulous, freedom, financial independence, and a happy family.
And that's great because our world needs that today. I know it's, women, and maybe it's part of the culture too. They don't, some may not have as much strength or been accepted that well in society and had to fight for things. And that strength that you help to show them. I thought it was interesting on your website. It says to be seen, to be heard, and to be celebrated. That's transformational for people because so many times maybe they feel they're not being heard. Maybe they feel they're not being celebrated. And if you help give them an avenue that provides that I could just see people. I bet your events and your networking events are something else because people just get that upliftingness. And congratulations on that for showing that for people and for women. I mean, it's a great thing you're doing, and the growth of it has been something. I mean, just it's amazing how that's. I've seen some of the posts you have and different things on your website, and it's It really looks intriguing. It really looks amazing. Now, what's one way, I mean, you're helping people to build their strength in these ideas and in these attitudes, if you will. What's a way to help that you do maybe on a daily basis to focus on the positive, to focus on overcoming these obstacles? You've lived through them. So how do you share that with others to overcome those?
Be open to embrace both the negative and positive. You see, I don't want people to go into that positive, 𝗴𝘂𝗲𝘂𝗃𝗃 things like, positive all the time, 100%, and you are there. But we all know that it's not going to happen. We're definitely going to be positive on some days and sad on other days and, moody on another day. So accept it. So what I share with I would say my ladies and my women will be, number one, always thank the emotion that you're embracing. If there's something that you desire, say thank you and put it into the positive box that you have. If it's something that is negative or self-limiting, say thank you for being there, but I no longer need you, and put it away. So kind of acknowledging and being aware, because a lot of times people go through life not aware of their own emotions, either through a few situations. Number one, their parents, whatever they've been taught. Number two, their peers. Like, it's just like an everyday thing. Like when there's a automated response, like, oh, you're so good looking today. No, I just feel very tired this morning. It's an automated response. So take a breather and always understand awareness is key to everything that's around you, of bring out the beauty of your life.
Right. Wow. That's good. That's intriguing because like you said, positivity isn't Pollyanna. I want people to understand it, because life will cause things to happen. That's a reality. It'll go up and down, and we're not always on, positive land, if you will, and things are going to happen. We've got to be able to adapt to those things and overcome that. That's a great way to think of it. And I love the idea of being grateful for the feeling you're feeling, whether it's positive or negative. And I like that. If it's not good, okay, I don't need you right now. That's a great way. I could see you putting that off to the side, saying, no, I don't need that right now. I've got other things to do. Great. Now, how has that idea helped you in your life? I mean, obviously you've grown through what you've done. Can you give us an example how it's helped you personally?
Well, I am very aware of the mind chatter that is in my mind, because I run an organization. I have a team of people, we have network to run. So there's many things that's going through my life every single day. So being absolutely aware is key. So one of the mindfulness exercises that I do every single morning, for myself, I would say to set the day right. And I would affirm what I'm good. I have gratitude exercise as well that I do. I thank everything. I list out 5 to 10 things I'm grateful for. Even though it's so cliche, but I personally believe that if you don't put awareness into your speech and the words, your subconscious mind, or what we call the reticular activating system in the brain, and that is like a light tower signaling the universe to open up doors of opportunities of greatness for you, or signaling hell to open the doors for you. So if you put it out there correctly by activating the reticular activating system with either your awareness of the exercise, the words you say, the gratitude words, I think that is going to help you. So for me, I do that. So that continue to pave my way of my daily life, to kind of do and cope with the everyday tasks in the work. And of course, being able to lead as a leader.
Right. And that's key. I think you mentioned the RAS, a reticulation activation system in your brain. That's fact. I mean, that's not Pollyanna. That's not her opinion. That's fact. That's in your brain. And what you help get that going and focus on, that's what guides your day. And being able to start with gratefulness and that positive energy during a day, that helps you get through a lot of things. I mean, I definitely understand that. I do that as well. I write down at least 3 things I'm thankful for every morning. As soon as I wake up, I'm an early bird, so I get up real early, and I'd say, thank God for waking up, letting me wake up. And then, I make sure, say a prayer for my kids, make sure they're safe and sound. And I start my day off with some exercises and things like that. So it starts that pattern, so that what's interesting is when I find if I don't do that, you're all over that. You're kind of lost. Do you ever see that? Do you help when people, you start to step them through this process and they kind of go away from it? Do you help bring them back and show them that change?
Sometimes people love to be invisible and love to be unaware because they are contented with their current situation. They are not aware that they need to change or they want to change. So I always say this, trust the process. You are where you need to be right now. Whatever that you need to learn, that whatever that is meant to be for you, it will open up for you. So me as a leader, I serve not as I would say that change per se, but rather as the seed to plant it within them and to be that catalyst for them eventually. So it's kind of that inertia that they have. And I will not be able to do that because for you to be an Olympic champion, you have to jump into the pool to swim.
Yeah.
I'm a coach, so I only sit on the side, right?
Yeah.
And I could only tell you and share with you where you can improve on your strokes and how you can breathe better. So I am that supporter, that cheerleader, that seed planter, and that catalyst for that change. At the end of the day, it depends on the individual, yourself.
Takes action. And that takes, somebody that they've got to, take the action and do what's needed for that goal. So great job in that explanation. I really appreciate it. I really like that scenario because it leads into my next curiosity question. I mean, you built Soul Rich Woman. That's over 200,000 women networking throughout your area. And that's some big growth. How did that all come about? I mean, did your experience just connecting with people? I mean, that's something. I mean, is it just the population in the area? Tell us about that, because I think that's very intriguing.
That's definitely not just the population. First and foremost is definitely marketing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I think the thing is, I never knew that it was possible, to be very honest. There were times that I think that, it's not possible, I'm just going to do it like small, play it this way. But the interesting thing is that you can't work alone.
No.
That's for sure. So I have a partner who is into business development, and he's really good with structuring, I would say structuring growth of the company.
Okay.
So that he's really good. And of course, I have a team of, very good team who works with me to grow this together. The second thing that happened was the pricing, right? How do they get to know you? I think this is something that people don't understand. When you first start a product, you must always create the thing that your customer wants, not what you think is good for them. Although it is important that you can do that service because of your certification or your experience, but many times it is what your item or that thing they're going to offer can solve the problem for them.
Okay.
So for me, our products solved the problem for our customers, for our network.
Right.
And that is key. when we first started the product, we didn't have a lot of people. It was a filled product. We had like membership programs that were $1,000 a year to 500, and we tried all the different numbers. And it came to a point because we defined the market exactly who we are serving, which is in Southeast Asia. Our number went down to $12 a month. And we had this membership for a while now. So we had those different number of memberships, right? The $40, ours is in USD. So USD a month, and then we offer these other offerings. And until I traveled Southeast Asia before COVID, I was traveling so much. I was on the ground listening to people 4 or 5 years ago, and I asked them, I said, how much would you pay to join a membership program that is online and has online programs and monthly webinars and things like that? So the women earnings were between 300 US to about 500 US in the Philippines, in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Cambodia, in Myanmar. So they are not rich. So then how would they be able to afford $1,000 membership a single year? So my mission was to make education as accessible as possible, but with them taking a step to invest in themselves. So with that $12 a month membership, the membership grew very quickly. And that with marketing and that on the ground, understanding the customers, what they need, that grew the numbers to 200,000, and we are still growing. So it's not easy, I would say, but really I failed multiple times to be where I am now. So I'm really glad for that. And to arrive to where I am here today, it's really because it's alone I'm strong, but together we are unstoppable.
I love that. I love that. And I think you have that on your webpage, don't you? Yeah, it's and that's key, because you looked at that. I really appreciate that, and I thought that was so interesting on your webpage when I read that. I was like, wow, that's intuitive. You went to the base level and realized, wait a second, yeah, this doesn't meet the criteria that a lot of people that need it can afford it, and so you adjusted that plan, and that's a great concept that brings together, I think, people, because they realize you understand them, and that connection to them, you understand their financial situation. They don't make that much, and you're able to provide that service for them at a rate they can afford. And it still offers them pieces that they have to take action to grow, get on the webinars, get on the training courses, etc. And it's really opens up a lot of options for people that may not have had that option with a higher level program, like you said. So again, great job with that, and understanding the people you serve. I commend you on that. I mean, that's great, because it's so important. So many times you see companies that they throw something out there and they have a small segment they're trying to reach, and they don't care about the other groups. And you kind of shifted that so that you got the people that can really use that product, and there's a connection to the heart there. So it's really something that you're doing that. So great job with that. Now I know I've seen some of the videos of you when you come out on stage and so forth. Is that some of the type of videos you give in your course? Tell us a little bit more about your course, is your Soul F course, and the networking and so forth. Tell us about that program.
Okay, so for our monthly membership, we do courses, training programs, like how do you do podcasting, how do you build a brand, how do you work, even negotiate, how do you build your group programs, how do you build your marketing, kind of stuff like that is along those lines for their business. But we also talk a lot about how to shift your mindset. What are things that you work on your confidence? How do you, the simplest thing, even how do you have a good eye contact on Zoom with a camera? Like I even put in how do you do your eye exercises
Okay.
so that when you look into the camera, you look like you have this alluring eyes. So it's pretty interesting. Something not what would you would expect, but something that we'll need.
Well, and that's the key is with the technology and with what's going on in the world, we can utilize the technology, and you got to understand they're seeing you, and the only difference is they're not smelling your perfume or your cologne. And I've often talked to people with video conferencing because people get scared. They're like, wait, they can see me. Yeah, they can. Yeah, it's you're right there in the. It's like you're right there in the room, and this allows us. You're across the world from me, and we're able to do this because of this technology, and that's an option that people have. And there's like you said, there's trainings. Your eye contact, just like it says, if you were in the room with somebody, you'd have eye contact. I can look at my camera now, or I can look a little bit further down and see your screen on the screen. So I have to adjust it so that I can look at both. And great concepts, because people need that. And that, I think what's interesting is the mindset is what is critical to start anything. That's going to get you anywhere. It starts with your mindset, because what you believe and you start to do, that starts your heartfelt ideas, and it starts, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? And you start to get ideas. And you mentioned the word catalyst, and I love that, because you're that spark that starts that fire. I mean, a catalyst is that. It's something that sparks something. So, you're doing something excellent by growing that fire that's burning inside of somebody that maybe they don't know how to get it out yet, and you're helping them to do that. So I think you're just doing an amazing job. I really love that idea that, the energy you offer people with the mindset and with, their abilities, or knowing that, they can be seen, they can be heard. What are some other things that I know you speak at conferences? You spoke at, several conferences throughout the world. Matter of fact, you spoke at PodFest. I appreciate that, with Chris Krimitsos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've known him for years. He's a good guy. Great program. My son and some of his friends actually sang at PodFest right before COVID ended. They were doing a men's bathroom choir, and we had them over there to sing to a lot of the groups, because their exposure with their videos got like millions of hits. And it was just amazing how it grew. And so they were able to even talk about that as well at the conference. But great job with that. So how are you, when you talk to those groups, is it more about the business side? Is it more about with PodFest, it'd be probably more about the podcasting. Would that be right?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I bring a perspective of what we are doing here in Asia,
Right.
and especially here in Southeast Asia, where podcasting is very new.
Really?
It's relatively new. It is so new.
Wow.
Back before COVID, when I first started I only started podcasting in 2019.
Yeah.
I heard about podcasting in 2015, and I did so much marketing, and I realized that people are unaware what is a podcast here in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines. They're like, podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that? So it was because of COVID. Yeah. Unfortunately, because of that. And people weren't able to travel. People were stuck in their own country, their own city, and they had to find ways to communicate, find ways to share their message. And some people don't like videos. They don't like to show their faces. Yeah. And the women I worked with, in general, a lot of them who go into podcasting because when you tell them to do videos, they will have 30 retakes. They'll plan their scripts. They will take 3 days to film one video, versus a podcast where a 3-day can get them 20 episodes.
Yeah. Wow.
You see the difference and you hear the difference. It's completely different. So when I share on PodFest, or I share onto different events, I bring along my experience helping women. I bring along the encouragement and that catalyst for them, that spark for them to see how they can own and love the F word in the way that's in their world. I'm not going to define how success is for you, whether is it $1 million, is it having more customers? Well, I do talk about those things, but that may not be what they want in life. So
Right.
that is why fabulous, freedom, financial independence, and family, they define what it means for them when I speak at conferences, and then using the tools and strategies that has been presented, they take it and they run with it.
Great. So you're producing a lot of people that run. So again, being that coach, being that catalyst, I love those concepts. So that's great information for people. Genecia, I'd really like to make sure people get more information from you about your website, where they can find you, what else you offer. I mean, they can look this all up, but if you can, tell people about your website and where else they can get a hold of you.
Well, if you love today's episode, you can connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok at Genecia Alluora, and that is GeneCiaAllUora, Genecia Alluora. I have multiple free gifts for you, in fact, two. First one is the Make It Happen Summit. It's a recorded video where I put together the greatest women like Kim Kiyosaki, with Mary Buffett. We have many other great speakers from all around the world whom I've interviewed for you to own and transform your F word. And the second one is, how do you delegate 80% of your to-do list to your assistant so that you can make money online with the zone of your genius? Okay, so these two are available at soulrichwoman.com, and that is SoulRichWoman.com, soulrichwoman.com.
Can I get a part of that? I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's for all right, because I love those concepts. I always like, hearing good speakers and so forth, but just those concepts of, that you talk about, that's so useful for everyone. So I want to say thank you for taking the time today to be a guest on the Encouragement Engineering podcast. I really appreciate it. What you're offering and the encouragement you offer others is such a bright light in our world. Continue to do the great work you're doing. It's honorable. I really appreciate taking the time today to be able to talk to you. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, more power to you.
Thank you. You have a great one. Thank you, Genecia.